Hey folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. We're heard right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me again today. 2022 is right around the corner. A few hours from now will be 2022. So I want to wish everybody a happy New Year's. Hope your New Year's dreams come true. I hope your New Year's resolutions, you keep them. I have my New Year's resolution. I hope to keep it as well. But bottom line, Happy New Year's, everybody. Enjoy the day. Uh, don't drink and drive. Don't you dare do that. Drink responsibly and stay safe. But enjoy the New Year's. Happy New Year's, everybody. And speaking of 2022, here's a few things that I would like to see Impact Wrestling do in 2022. And this is a fan speaking, but this is something I would love to see them. I would love to see. Impact Wrestling do first and foremost, and this should be the Impact Wrestling priority. This should be a priority for Impact Wrestling, and I'm sure it is. But I hope it is. But they need to re-sign Josh Alexander. His contract up in February. He signed February of 2018, 3-year deal. I'm sorry, 2019, 3-year deal. And they need to re-sign Josh Alexander. They can't let him go. His contract up in February, as from what I've read, from what I've seen, contract is up in February. That's going to be the number one priority for Impact Wrestling: is re-signing the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander can have a great match with absolutely anybody. Anybody. You could put him in the ring with a broomstick. I know Ric Flair, people would always say Ric Flair could have a great match with a broomstick. Josh Alexander could have a great match with a broomstick. No one would sell to that broomstick as well as Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander, it would be tough to get him. It would be tough to get the broomstick in an ankle lock submission, but I'm sure Josh Alexander would figure it out. But you know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying. He could get in the ring with someone like Joe Doring, Minoru Suzuki, Ruby Soho. He could get in the ring with a Rich Swan. He could get in the ring with a Kenny Omega. He could get into the ring with like a Kota Ibushi, with anybody, and have just an absolutely tremendous match. And I said Ruby Soho. He actually had a great match. I haven't seen it yet. He had a great match with Ruby Soho for AAW last night. Haven't seen it, but I read it was a terrific match. I'm looking forward to seeing it. But that's why I use Ruby Soho as an example. But that's going to be the number one priority right now. Number one priority for Impact Wrestling is to re-sign Josh Alexander. I'm sure AEW will be interested. I'm sure New Japan Pro Wrestling will be interested. I don't know if NXT would be interested. But they'd be crazy not to. Maybe the WWE would be interested. I say NXT only because NXT is looking for young guys straight out of college that they could develop apparently right now. But I'm sure there would be interest. I'm sure there would be interest. WWE would be crazy not to be interested in Josh Alexander. But they're going through a transitional phase right now with all these releases. So I'm sure MLW will be released. Will be interested in Josh Alexander, but Impact Wrestling can't let him go. I know New Japan Pro Wrestling would be very attractive because I know Josh Alexander has said before that he would love to work in Japan, but he could do that with Impact Wrestling. He could do that with Impact Wrestling. I'm hoping that's we see some Impact Wrestling stars heading over to Japan in 2022. That's another thing I would love to see in 2022. Impact Wrestling stars heading on over to Japan. I'd love to see Moose defend the Impact Wrestling World Title in Japan against like Hiroki Goto. I'd love to see Josh Alexander head over there and go one-on-one with Tomohiro Ishii, or Tetsuya Naito would be a great match for Josh Alexander. So that's another thing, but back to Impact Wrestling, they can't let Josh Alexander go. And as I said, he could work in New Japan Pro Wrestling in Japan once this whole COVID thing is over. By remaining with Impact Wrestling, because they have the working relationship right now with New Japan Pro Wrestling, so that could be worked out. But bottom line is, their top priority right now Impact Wrestling is to re-sign the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. You can't let him get a graphic that says Josh Alexander is all elite. Okay, I'm sure it'll be beneficial. It'll be great for Josh Alexander to go to AEW. I'm sure he'll make a lot of money there. But Impact Wrestling, they have to open the vault, and they can't let Josh Alexander get away. While it would be great for Josh Alexander, probably financially, to go to AEW, I think Impact Wrestling could they could open the vault, and they could pay Josh Alexander what he wants, and he could make a terrific living for the next 2 years in Impact Wrestling. So number one priority for Josh Alexander. I'm sorry, for Impact Wrestling is to re-sign Josh Alexander. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. They can't let him go. Also, another thing I would love to see in Impact Wrestling in 2022, love to see Jake Something and Big Joe Doring get major pushes. They definitely deserve it, especially Jake Something. Great talent. He seems to be floating around in Impact Wrestling, not really doing anything too meaningful right now in Impact Wrestling. Yes, his last match was a win over Hikuleo, but he needs to get a major push. I would love to see him get a shot at the Impact Wrestling World Title against Moose. I think that would be a great match. Love to see Joe Doring getting a shot at Impact Wrestling World Title. So I think both Jake Something and Joe Doring both deserve big pushes. Love to see Jake Something even join Violence by Design, join up with Eric Young and Violence by Design. I think he'll be a great fit for Violence by Design. So I'd love to see Jake Something join. He'd be a great heel with them. It would add more to that faction. But nonetheless, I would love to see. I really think Jake Something and Joe Doring, they deserve big pushes in 2022. Another thing that I think Impact Wrestling, I would like to see less of from Impact Wrestling in 2022 is giving talent not signed officially with Impact Wrestling pushes. Like, I'm going to use Mercedes Martinez as an example. Take Mercedes Martinez and Kiera Hogan. Kiera Hogan with Impact Wrestling for a number of years. She never got a shot at the Knockouts title. And in my opinion, she's an amazing talent, and she deserved a run without a doubt, being the Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion. Without a doubt, she deserved the run as the Knockouts champion, but she never got a shot. She never got a shot at the Knockouts title. She actually got a shot when she wasn't with Impact Wrestling. She got a shot at Impact Wrestling Championship when she wasn't with Impact Wrestling, and it took place in NWA. But she definitely deserved a run. But Mercedes Martinez gets released from NXT. She comes in, she wins Knockouts Knockdown. She gets a shot at Mickie James. She was unsuccessful in her attempt to get the Knockouts championship for Mickie James. And then she has an interview and says that she would love to work for Impact Wrestling. She's open to working for Impact Wrestling long term. You're getting everybody excited. And 2 weeks later, Mercedes Martinez is all elite. And she's officially with AEW. So that's why you got to be careful. You can't, Kiera Hogan should have gotten a big singles push. Tasha Steelz is working her way up. She's kind of deserving a big singles push as well. Mercedes Martinez, yeah, you might have got a little buzz from Mercedes Martinez, but she's not with Impact anymore. So, and I know they're pushing the big Martinez Deonna Purrazzo match for next week, despite the fact that Mercedes Martinez is signed with AEW, and people get confused. People thinking, "Oh, the Forbidden Door is open again." No, it's the Forbidden Door is not open again. It was just taped before she signed with AEW. That's all. So you got to be careful. I mean, you had Finn Juice as the Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions. They're not officially signed with Impact Wrestling. You brought in Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega was the Impact Wrestling World Champion. Refused to drop the title to an Impact Wrestling talent. There's no way Moose should have lost that match. Kenny Omega. Moose should have defeated Kenny Omega and took the title back for Impact Wrestling, but of course, as we know, that didn't happen. Dropped the title to Christian Cage. Josh Alexander won it. Then Moose defeated Josh Alexander. But I think more Impact talent deserves pushes before talent coming in that aren't officially signed should get their push. That's just how I feel. I like to see less of that. In Impact Wrestling. I'm not saying that I'm pushing their own guys. They are, but I just it could get a little annoying. It get a little annoying when you have Mercedes Martinez getting the big push, and then she shows her gratitude by signing with AEW. Again, not taking anything away. She's going where the money is. I'm sure she got a great contract. But what does that do for Impact Wrestling? What is it? What did it do for Impact Wrestling? Okay, we pushed Mercedes Martinez, but now she's not with us anymore. So that's just it's time to move on. So it was kind of a waste of time. Like someone like Masha Slamovich, a Lady Frost, should have won. A newcomer should have won the Knockouts Knockdown to give them the big push, to give them the big push, the big rush towards the Impact Wrestling Knockouts title. Just how I feel, just how I feel. So I'd like to see a little less of that. I like to see that eliminated completely, actually, if possible. Another thing I would love to see, Impact Wrestling following suit with what AEW is doing with AEW Dark, what WWE does with NXT, Developmental, looking for new talent. Even Ring of Honor, they had Future of Honor. Impact Wrestling doesn't have anything like that. I would like to see like a Future Star show. We have Impact Plus now. We have YouTube Ultimate Insiders, where they show matches. Put together a half hour, 45-minute show of just matches with future Impact Wrestling stars. You could bring in guys like Matt Mikowski, Jasmine Allure, Titus Alexander, Starboy Charlie, Dustin Waller, Kylan King. You could bring in Sandra Moon. You could bring in, develop them, put them on the show, introduce Impact Wrestling fans to some new talent, potentially new talent that could come to Impact Wrestling and potentially become stars. Because all the names I mentioned there, they all have great potential, especially Matt Mikowski, Titus Alexander. Both those guys are young, excellent talents that have great potential. And they're eventually going to see them on AEW Dark. You might have already have. Mikowski, maybe. I don't know about Titus Alexander, but you know what I'm trying to get at. They should have like a show, a future star show, like the future of Impact. 45-minute, 1 hour YouTube show, or follow suit. And people saying, "Oh, you're trying to copy AEW." Who cares, right? The AEW is not the first company to have a developmental show. It's a developmental. It's a new talent show. Future stars of Impact Wrestling. I think it'd be a great idea, and people could. You bring in the talent. And you're finding looking for that next star of Impact Wrestling. Like, for example, say Jasmine Allure comes in, and say she just comes in and she just blows everybody away with her talent, right? And she's just, the fans take to her immediately. You sign Jasmine Allure to a 3-year contract, and boom, you have potentially a new star of the Knockouts division. Same with Matt Mikowski. He's doing a terrific job on the indie scene. Matt Mikowski has great potential. Bring him in. The fans take to him. He blows everybody away with his talent. Sign him to a 3-year deal. You have a potential new star of Impact Wrestling. That's what they should do. I mean, every promotion's doing it. Even MLW is constantly looking for new talent, to bring in. I'm not saying Impact Wrestling isn't, but I'm saying Impact Wrestling should have a show where they could showcase new talent, because you'll see a new talent here, a new talent there on BTI, and then you won't see them again. But let them develop. Bring them in. Let's get the Future Star show going. Again, you have the format. You have YouTube. You have YouTube Ultimate Insider. You have Impact Plus. Let's get something going. Let's get some new, fresh faces. Let's get something. It could be something Impact Wrestling fans will get very, very excited about. I know I would get very excited about it. It's something that we would love to see. So I would love to see something like that in 2022. As a matter of fact, I would really love to see it in 2022. Now I'm thinking about it, because there's a lot of potentially young stars out there, and I mentioned a few, but there's a lot more that they could bring in and showcase on a future stars of Impact show, whatever they want to call it. Even bring back Explosion and make it a future star show. I think would be fantastic. Something I would definitely love to see in 2022 for sure. And last but not least, in 2022, I would love to see Impact Wrestling return to Windsor, Ontario, because we are starving for professional wrestling. Okay, gonna leave it at that for now. If there's anything else that you would like to see Impact Wrestling do in 2022, leave it in the comments. Let's discuss it. But Again, want to wish everybody a happy new year. I'm probably done for today unless something huge breaks. I'm going to enjoy New Year's with the family, but I'll be back tomorrow. But until then, thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye. And stay safe, everyone. I said I'm going to enjoy New Year's with the family. I mean, I'm going to enjoy New Year's Eve with the family, but I'll be back tomorrow because I'm addicted to these podcasts. I got to do it, man. But I'll be back. So, again, one more time, Happy New Year. And take care. Bye bye. And stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye bye.